And 3, 2, 1. Hello, you guys.
ladies. Oh my.
Oh,
How y'all
my,
doing
it's
today?
right. We are wonderful and happy Merry
Awesome.
Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys.
All that stuff.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
guys since last year. Wow.
I
Absolutely.
know. Last year. And speaking
Yeah.
of last year,
We have
2021
to.
is here. I know. Thank you. Do we have to? 2021 is here.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you guys, but not much has changed.
No.
We were, I looked at the Facebook memes and all of the, if 2020 was this and if 2020 was that, and they show all these ridiculous things. But 2020 was a good year for me. As a matter of fact, 2020 is probably one of the best years that I've had. What about you
Absolutely.
guys?
I would agree. I mean, even though I had COVID, I'm going to tell you, it was a good year. It was a really, really good year. And a lot of things happened positive for me. A lot of people would say, well, how's that? Because you had COVID. Well, because I was allowed some time home to catch up with me and to take my mask off and to find out who I really am and where I really want to go in life. So yeah, 2020, that was a good year for me. I was blessed to be able to come out of COVID and realize, as what we're talking about tonight, living and existing, and just to realize that, what, was I really living or existing? And I found out that I was just existing. And that got me. And so we're here with that. But yeah, that was a good year for me. Yeah.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Laura, what about you? How was 2020 for you?
Overall, it I don't know. It had its ups and downs, but I'm kind of an optimist. So I always try to look for the joy and the happiness. And there were so many joyful moments in the past year. And like Iselene said, I think it kind of gave us time to pause and collect ourselves and reflect on where we really want to go, and like you say, living versus existing. I was in such a kind of a little habit of getting up and going and doing, and was missing out on a lot of the things that were going on behind the scenes. So it really allowed me to kind of slow down and appreciate some of the other things in my life and take a look at where I wanted to go in the coming year. So
isn't it something how I don't want to say bad things, situations in our life that take us out of our comfort zone or that just bring us to a particular place to make us realize
it kind of gave us time to pause and
how good life is. It's like, why does it take something? It doesn't have to be tragic, just something that is uncomfortable for us that makes us realize how important life is and how quickly life goes by. And Laura, you wrote an article in this upcoming issue about a dear friend and that you lost. And somehow death makes us appreciate life.
Hmm.
So it's like, what are you doing with your one life? Because when we're gone, we're gone. So that's the whole basis of The Other Woman magazine, is
Right.
living a fulfilled life.
Hmm.
And fulfilled doesn't mean busyness.
That's right.
Right.
It's
That's
almost
right.
completely the opposite.
Absolutely.
Because while we were in quarantine,
Hmm.
on quarantine, how do you say it, editor? In quarantine or quarantined? Put you
I,
on the
I was I was quarantined. I'll just say it.
quarantine. That's a good one. So
Wow.
while we were put on lockdown, that's where enlightenment happened for a lot of us. It made us stop, be
Hmm.
still, and
That's right.
think about our life. So tell us why that. I think I want to go back to what you were saying about how COVID got your attention. But Laura, I want you to talk about that article and why you thought it was necessary to write about your friends, like if you're able to speak on it.
Um, and I feel like I think about it quite a lot. Lately, it's funny how it's really affected me. We were friends from the time we were 14 years old, and had just been through so many of our life events together. And it taught me a few lessons. One about taking things for granted, taking for granted that somebody's going to be there. Um, the next time you want to talk to them. Uh, but it and I apologize for getting a little emotional about it, because it
Okay.
has weighed very heavily on my heart. But it's also made me kind of want to dig down and fight for the time that I have left. Um,
Mhm.
I don't want to go gentle into that good night. I
Yes.
I there are things that I want to do, and not related to motherhood, and not related to being a wife or a
Hmm.
sister or a daughter, but just related to being me and
Me.
who I
Yeah.
am,
Right.
who
That's
I
Yeah.
right.
want to be. And I
Yeah.
think Angie's passing has really resonated with me in that way. I'm more in the time that she didn't have,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and the only way that I feel like I can honor her is to try to make the most of the time that I have.
Yes. Yes. And that's death for death across the board, period.
Yeah.
Not to turn this into a show of death or morbid, but it's life. It's
Right.
one or the other. So it's like, what are you doing with the
Balance.
one life? Yes. What are you doing with the one life you've been gifted? And you said not as a wife, not as a mother. I hear you, Laura, because my son says I'm always bringing up divorce, but I had a rebirth from my divorce, a rebirth of my life. So it did get my attention outside of being a wife and out of a mother. There was Lavender. There was a woman beneath all of those roles and
Hmm.
responsibilities and hats that I felt like I have to wear, that was waiting to live, that was waiting to just embrace
Waiting to
life.
live. Yeah.
Waiting
Hmm.
to live, yes,
That's right.
yes.
That's
So,
right. Hmm.
so I said to share how 2020, how contracting COVID made a difference in your life, how it got your attention.
Well, having COVID got my attention because, at that time, COVID was this big, and it's still serious. Please don't play it down because it's still serious. I had a really good case of it, a really good dose, I guess, if that's the correct word. And as I laid on my sofa, Lavinda, you were there some days calling and checking on me. But when I laid there in the days when I was able to think about where I was and what got me here, I began to look back on life for me to wonder, have I accomplished everything that I set out to do? And the answer to myself was no. And then I fall back off into a deep sleep and just sick. And when I came through, I thought, oh my God, my body was aching and I was tired. And, for me, I felt like the next best thing for me would have been death. And I began to think as though, if I get off this sofa, what if I get off this sofa? When I get off this sofa, it came to, what am I going to do differently that I haven't already done? And that was to live, because I noticed how I was just living day to day, just doing the things that I thought was important for that day, taking care of everything and being everything for everybody, but nothing for myself. And I said, what have I done that Isoline would be happy with? And it was nothing. Taking care of the family. Lavinda teased me all the time that my house is Grand Central Station. Praise the Lord, I'm here by myself today. No visitors. And, so for me, it took me out of the mindset of, okay, just get up and do the regular things every day. No, not anymore. On my board here, my dry erase board, I have everything that I started out to do and never accomplished, and it will get done. Because now I begin to live, and wanting to live more for me. I get up in the morning and I put my best dress on for work. Today I didn't have my makeup on until later on, but I have to get up and I have to show up and stand up for Isoline. And that's what we have to do as mothers, as wives. We have to, because we find ourselves doing the same freaking thing over and over and over. And you know what they say, if you continue to do the same old thing you always done, you're going to get the same results. And that's the definition of insanity. And I was going crazy, literally going crazy. So that's what I got out of that, me contracting COVID and going through all the stuff that I had to go through, and laying on my sofa thinking, oh my God, is my kids going to open the door and find me just laying here? And do I have my business in order? So I had to stop and pump my brakes and get myself in order. So when we're just existing, that means that we're just doing everything on a regular run. And we're not living, meaning that we're living today like it's our last. Like we're living through the week as though this is the last week that we're going to ever get a chance to get out of the house. And I don't even want, like you say, we don't want it to be morbid that we're talking about. But when you're living and existing, that plays hand in hand. Because living means that things are blooming, things are moving, things are growing, and there's new things. But existing, same old thing, same old way, every day. And that's existing. So yeah, hey, that's what I got. And I love my living now,
And that's, you said New Beginnings, and that is the back cover of the Other Woman magazine for this current issue, celebrating new beginnings and the whole the darkness of her womb. I had never heard of the triple darkness of a womb. Have you all ever heard of the triple darkness?
Wait, let me write
I had never heard of it, and it got me to doing a little research. And some of it is looking at the darkness of troubles and how troubles can bring new beginnings and enlightenment, and the whole thing of how a child will come through the darkness of the birth canal.
Right.
And you're pushing, that baby's got to go through some things to get out. And that's just our life. We've got to go through some things for those new beginnings. So the whole darkness of it, there were quite a few articles on 2020 and forward. But one of the ones that really got my attention was A Life of Nothingness. That was a title of it, A Life of Nothingness. And they were basically talking about how there is so much going on in life. There was so much that happened in 2020, and we focused so much on all those issues. But what's really important? Because you look back now, all that stuff has kind of subsided publicly. Now some new things are coming up, but it's all nothingness. What does that have to do with the true meaning of a fulfilled life?
Yeah.
Is that what you want your legacy to be? Or what do you want your legacy to be? Or is it obtaining goals and desires and dreams? Or is it just understanding the power of life itself? And that's what the writer was saying, that he realized It's the power of life itself. We can live life, but not
Mhm.
even recognize the life around us.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
beauty of the universe, the stars, the sky, the sunsets. That's
Mhm.
life around us. But we
Yeah.
are moving about our way, like you said, insanity,
Yeah.
doing the busyness here and there, and we have not even what quote unquote stopped to smell the roses or to
Mhm.
look up at the sky and recognize I am a part of this. This is
That's
life.
right.
You
That's
know,
right.
the beautiful sky, air to inhale and exhale, or is
Mhm.
it reaching for these goals and trying to make a difference and recreating ourselves? I'm already created.
That's right.
I'm already created.
That's
I
right.
I need to tap into what I have and do something with it. So what do you guys think about that whole reaching for the goals and obtaining success? And it's different for everyone. So Laura, what do you think about that?
It is. And my own definition of success has changed a lot over the course of my
Mhm.
life. You know, when I was younger, I had an idea of what I thought success might be, you know, a nice home and a nice husband and 2.5 kids. And,
A nice
you know,
home, a nice husband.
just that I got all this. But for me, I think the best lesson that I've learned about success is learning to be happy with the things you have,
Right.
and learning to count my blessings and be grateful. Even in the most troubling times in my life, I've been able to pause and look around me and be thankful for what I have.
Mhm.
And I think gratitude is a huge part of enjoying your life. Being grateful to other people and the interactions that you have with them. Lavender, you were talking about appreciating the small things, you know, being grateful for the way the sun feels on your face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or being grateful that you know your kids had enough to eat, obviously, because there's a pile of dishes in the sink, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think success for me personally has come in tiny little pieces in finding joy in my moments.
Mhm.
Any given day, there's something that you can find joy in. And you talk about the darkness and the light, and there's always that balance. And without the darkness, you can't appreciate the light
That's
always. So I
right.
guess
That's right.
I think you were the person that used to say to me in our younger years, look for the lesson, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
in trouble and hard times, where's the lesson?
You said
And
in our younger
That's
years.
good.
Oh my God,
Good.
in our
Yeah.
younger
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
That alone just gives me chill bumps. In
Right.
our younger years. And it's when you look back,
Mhm.
and we always say, where did they go? We were right there for every minute of them.
Right.
But I think it's hindsight. But yeah, all of us, we've known each other for years when the children were little, and she had the nerve to say in our younger years.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we are now becoming that older, well, I'm already there, the older woman.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
every minute there's something. There's a one
thank God
guy.
for that.
I know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a guy that submitted an article, and I didn't place it because my team just advised me it just wasn't the right platform for it, but he's on death row. And he wrote an article about 2020 and how everyone was saying 2020 is almost gone. You know, we're looking forward to a new year and, you know, the whole hype of getting past 2020. But here he is on death row speaking positive words for
Wow.
every day, you know, and saying that we're locked up and mentally um, behind bars because of our thinking. So
That's
here
right.
he is on death row and enjoying life, embracing
Right.
every moment. And here we are in the free world, and we're complaining about the 365 days that we had.
Mm,
We can't wait for them to get over. You know,
mm.
you think about it, it's like
Yeah.
like you were saying, Laura, being grateful for what you have.
Mm-hmm.
We are so blessed with what's right in front of us, but we continue to try to climb, to try to get better. You know, I was saying before we came on that I want to take the other woman to another level. You know, the subscriptions are coming in, she's doing well. Am I satisfied with where she is? I want more for her. I
Yeah.
want
Well,
more for that magazine.
and don't get me wrong. I'm a simple girl, but every now and again I get a wild hair and I'll do something crazy like,
Mhm.
jump out of an airplane or,
And that you did.
That's wow.
And that
That's
you
very
did.
wow. Yeah.
It's an
I'm
go
scared
up
for
on
you.
stage with the
issue.
band, even though I can't sing or play an instrument, whatever. Got to
Whatever.
seize those moments too.
Exactly, exactly. And the whole bucket list, because
Yeah.
that's in a debut issue. I don't know if you remember seeing that, Iselina, but that picture of the woman jumping out of
I
the
do.
airplane,
Yeah.
that was Laura. That was
Rick,
Laura.
was that you? At first I didn't think it was real. Like, who is this crazy lady? And that was Laura. Girl, listen, I'm 5'11", and when I stand up, I'm scared. So no less than talking about going to jump out in the airplane. Now, girl, you do. That's more than a wild hair. But
But
when you
I'm
talk
sorry, go
about
ahead.
when I think about success, it is accomplishing those things on the bucket list. But again, when you're just existing, you don't get that because you're not living to the fullest.
Mhm,
And then when I look back at success for me is just getting through the day now.
mhm,
Just every step is success for me. Because as you said, Laura, I thank God for it. Yes, we are the older women. I'll be 55 for crying out loud in what, the
for
22nd of
crying
March.
out loud.
Yeah, are you kidding me? And I think, I remember my grandmother, you get to that point where you got to have your glasses on because you need to, thread a needle. And I think, God, I remember when I used to ask grandma, what are you doing? Why do you need that? And she said, well, honey, thread this for me. And I go and I thread that needle for her thinking, okay, here you go. Now, honey, my arms just ain't long enough. It's not an eyeglass, and so I find myself using a little needle threader. So success, again, is those little things, getting that needle thread, something so
Mhm,
simple,
mhm,
and I look day to day and think, what am I going to accomplish today? What am I set out to do today? And you know what I find myself doing? I take this little tablet and I write out what I have to do tomorrow. There you go. What am I going to do tomorrow? And I put it on there. And there you go. Okay. Yeah, we're on the same page. So, and when I look, I'm grabbing a pen, I'm sorry. And when I look at this list of stuff that I have to do, now I'm living because I can go back through my little tablet and see the things that I've accomplished. And that is success for me. Somebody may think success is having $100,000, living in that house, having, that. I laughed at you, Laura, because you said have a good husband. Is that what you said? Is
A
there
nice
such a
home,
thing?
a
Oh
nice
my God.
I
yes,
got mine broken in, so he may hang around for a while.
Okay. Yeah, there you go, girl. But so yeah, success comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes, colors. Success smelling the roses. My God. Just being able to smell nowadays, because when I had COVID and couldn't smell and couldn't taste, oh my.
mhm,
So
mhm,
success for me is really small things now for me. I don't look at things as though, oh my God, I got to have that. No, I don't have that. I'm
mhm,
driving in a 20-year-old Infiniti QX4. That's success for me.
mhm,
I don't have to have the
mhm,
2020, or the 2021. I don't have to have that. That is success. So it depends on, it's almost like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I would think success would be the same thing.
yeah.
Everybody has differently.
I am the oldest of the three of us,
Well, go
and
girl.
success has also changed for me over the
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And now, a successful day for me is staying connected to
Yeah.
my creator and not being disconnected from what the true meaning of life is.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Mm-hmm.
can, because I believe, I'm not a religious person, but I believe when I stay connected to my creator,
Mm-hmm.
he is guiding me through my day. And it
Mm-hmm.
seems like the less I do, the better I feel about my day because it seems to make me more available to the world. Um, a list frustrates me now.
Mm-hmm.
It almost brings me to freaking tears because I don't want to do jack on it. I don't want to do it.
The anxiety that comes along with it.
It does.
Mhm.
And you know, it's just a beautiful feeling. And it's amazing that I'm even speaking like this because it sounds like an older woman, but I am
And
the
you are.
older woman. But you know, I always bring up my father, 83, and Laura, your article on your friend who passes,
Yes.
all of this is going to fade away.
Right.
All of this
Absolutely.
is going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So my legacy, even though it's in print,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave with every person I come in contact with
Yeah.
something about the meaning of life,
Yeah.
of embracing inhale and exhale, breathing. Do you just stop and think about inhaling and exhaling? Something that
That's
we
right.
do every day, but we don't
Everything.
think about it
Mm-hmm.
like
Literally.
we should. But that's our life source.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
Expansion.
a lot of times coping with that busy life
Mm-hmm.
is like just being on autopilot. You know,
Exactly.
you're it's breathing without realizing it. You're just going through life, you're going through the motions, you're doing everything. And yes, you're laughing and you're joking and playing, but it's still just go, go, go. Um, and I think that it helps to take some time and back off
Yeah.
and shut off that busy part of your life and just really and whether it's getting in touch with your creator or finding your center or just getting to know who the hell you are,
Yes,
Exactly. That's
you
yes.
it. I
know.
was gonna say that. Yeah. That's
Before
it.
you get
So
80 years old.
right, right.
And
And I think that's what this new year is presenting to me is an opportunity to really just figure out who I am.
Mm. So
that's right.
Laura,
And you want to do
you are?
Pardon?
You don't know who you are.
You had asked me to introduce myself at our last session.
Mm.
And I thought, oh yeah, this is who I am. I'm the mother of, I'm the wife of, I'm the dog mom of, and the cleaner, and
The
all of these different
nurturer,
little
the taxi
labels.
driver. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but now that's over.
Mm.
The kids are moving on. And I've finally come to a point in my life where I feel like I'm just kind of sloshing around in the bottom of the bucket here,
Mhm.
and trying to figure out where I want my next steps to be.
Mhm.
So getting in touch with who I am and really taking that time to just figure that out is what's going to be my success for the year. I
Mhm.
write things down on a list, and I'll write things that I've already done just so I can mark them off.
Oh my God, Laura. That is new. I have to try
So
that.
that's kind of where I'm finding myself here at the beginning of this new year. And if it's a symbolic thing, or a tradition or whatever it is that we have,
Mhm.
my resolution is just going to be to find me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Free the other woman. So that's
Let
the
me
other
out.
woman. That's the other woman who has just not been given that opportunity to live because of whatever reason. And probably in your case, in a lot of women's cases, it was mine, roles and responsibilities. You know, you
Mhm.
have to put on a hat. But who are you,
Exactly.
Linda? Who are you? So my new freedom, it was noteworthy to put it in public, to put it in print,
Mm.
because I said I can't be the only woman who feels like this. And
Absolutely not.
it wasn't just divorce, it was just the freedom of not wearing the hats anymore. The children are grown,
Hmm.
they have their own jobs, their own lives, people in their life. Okay, so mama's job may not be finished, but mama's not needed like she used to be needed.
Absolutely.
So, Lavender, here you are. So, a wonderful future for me in my mind is to just be somewhere quiet and writing. That's
Yeah.
all I want. Quarantine spoiled me like I don't know what. I'm still self-quarantined. I don't even want to come out. It's just that bad. But you know what? When you're in tune to yourself, when you're just still, just be
Hmm.
still.
Hmm.
How are you going to find yourself if self is all over the place in that
Absolutely.
world of nothingness? Be
Hmm. Hmm.
still. But a lot of times we're afraid to be still because then we are shown who we are. Who
Yeah. Yeah. Afraid of finding out who we are. But
yeah.
also, when we look at living and existing, and we talk about that's why I've started writing a daily task.
Mhm.
Number one, because when I laid there and I looked back over my life and I thought, you know what? I'm doing the same old thing that I've done again. And when I look back over my journals and I compared probably about 20 of my journals and
Mhm.
I just read through them, I was doing the same thing the year before. Crazy as a bad bug, just like a hamster on a wheel, doing the same old thing. And I thought, oh my goodness. And that's when I came up with the fact, write it on the board and mark it off. Write it on the board because I'm finna. Well, what are you gonna do? What are you getting ready to do? The
Yeah.
same thing you were doing last year this time and started and get halfway down the street and not complete it.
Do you remember
So
saying to me, what's wrong with me? Am I stupid?
yeah, yeah,
Am I stupid?
yes, it's like, what the hell and cheese is going on here?
Not
You
finished
know,
anything. So that's why I say the mindset. Nothing is going to change just because we changed the calendar
exactly.
year.
That's right.
Nothing's going to
That
change.
is
It has
correct.
to be the thinking, the thought
Yeah,
process has got to change. So every new day, that's why I like using the term happy new day. Forget
yeah,
happy
yeah,
new
yeah.
year.
Hmm.
Let's get with today,
It's just a
right
different
here,
day.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
nothing changed.
yeah, we were all Laura was the first one ready this evening. She was just sitting
Ah,
there like this.
here we go.
And I saw
Jill
her
did my makeup for me.
Who did it?
Jillian, my daughter.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
so speaking of makeup and Isolene, I think you were the last one and you were putting on, and I was all over the place. I'm thinking, you had all day for this.
Exactly.
What was your rush? So Laura, like I've always told you, you've always seemed like you had it all together. So there you were sitting waiting on me and Isolene, just
Yeah.
waiting. I'm like, dang,
I got
what
on
did
too.
you do?
That's because I rushed everybody through dinner. I found this
Oh God.
99-cent quesadilla maker at the thrift store the other day. We've been making quesadillas like crazy. So we're
Yeah.
in there, the pico's flying and we got the cheese. And I'm like, y'all hurry up and eat. And then everybody get out and shut up. And it was all so for like 15 minutes. It was like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
The behind the scenes, behind the scenes.
The
So what are
truth,
we-
the truth is behind the scenes.
yeah. So what are we doing to change our thought process? Let's share that. If nothing is going to change unless we change the way we think, what are we doing to change that thought process? What is our process to change the way we're thinking?
Well, what I've done is I began to read more.
Oh,
Read it. I read and journal more. And
wonderful.
you know what, Lavenda, you're gonna be so proud. You know what my new word is?
What?
No, no, and heck no. I say no now.
You
I don't say
really?
no. So I'm saying no because my mind is so crowded with doing things for everybody and nothing for me. And in order for me to change my mindset, I had to start reading more, and I had to start finding time for me and saying no to everybody else.
Mm.
No to everybody else. I'm telling you. And
Wow.
also, whatever I say, and I told you this, you said, well, are you going to be there, Isoline? And you act like you were surprised, and I know why. Because I say I'll do stuff and I'll start and I'll finish. But if I make a commitment, I stay with it. I work towards it,
Mhm.
even in my new job, doing the insurance thing now. I made a commitment. I'm gonna stick with it. And if I don't make the deadline, I can keep on until I get to it. I don't give up. And so that changes my thought process because I get halfway down the street and think, you know what, forget it. It's like jumping a hurdle in the middle of the hurdle, say, oh my, I can't do that, and
But is
drop
that
right there in the middle
wrong?
of it.
Is that wrong? Because I have an issue with commitments now. I
Do
do.
you?
If
Are we
I,
changing sides?
I don't even say what. Are
Are
we?
we changing sides? Because that's not you, girl.
No, I know, but you know what? It's a different type of commitment. I want to be free. I want to be available
Yeah,
for whatever might come my way.
yeah, yeah.
So to like the Thursdays, Laura and I were talking. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this every Thursday. It might be something
Hmm.
else that I want to do on a Thursday. I want to be available for an opportunity. I want to be available for the what if.
And
So
that's being committed to you, Lavenda. That's what I'm
being
saying. I'm
committed
committed to
to
what I
me.
want. And if
Okay.
I want to change what I want to do, I change it. But
Okay.
I complete the task at hand. But I
Okay.
can change it at any moment. Nothing's written in stone. So it's
Nothing's
okay.
done.
That's
And,
okay. No,
and
I can't go.
just let
That's
life
free.
happen. Just let life happen. I read a
Exactly.
book. Are you guys familiar with Eckhart Tolle?
No.
Okay. One of
Is
my
that a
favorite
dish?
books. Is that a what?
A dish?
A dish.
It sounds delicious.
It does.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
it changed my life. And one of the things that he says in it is, let life happen. Can you do that? Can you simply just let life
Mhm.
happen? Or do we feel like we have to be in control of life? When we wake up, we have to say, okay, I got to do this, this, this. Or can we wake up? Or do we have the freedom to wake up and just let life happen? You
That's
know,
good.
that takes not only faith,
Wow.
but it takes some courage because we are so used to we're conditioned to make things happen.
Mhm. Mhm.
So almost like the life of a monk. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm, mhm.
But what if there is a mother with school age children, children at home? How does she just let life happen? There's that word balance again that I don't believe, but juggling. But
Mhm.
even with raising children or even with adult children, are we able to just let life happen or do we try to control and save and rescue
Mhm.
somebody else's life? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Laura. You're about to jump in.
Well, and it's funny that you talked about this because I was thinking over the Christmas holidays. I had my family in shifts. We had the four grandkids and their parents came, and then we had
Oh.
another couple and all their little dogs, and so everybody just kind of came in shifts. And I didn't take any pictures.
Mhm.
And I thought, oh gosh, I feel so guilty for doing that. But I was really there in the moment and just
In
kind of
the
enjoying the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And the advice that I would give to a younger mother who is, concerned about not her inability to let life happen, because by design, that's not always possible.
Mhm.
But you can still find those little pockets of life where it just happens.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's sitting on the front porch, and your kid walks out and y'all just kind of sit there and talk. Or sometimes it happens on a car ride. When you're in the car, you turn the radio off and tell them to put their phone down and just ask a
Mhm.
question,
Mhm.
and or sing a song or do something silly. Uh, we do a lot of silly around my house,
Yes, you all do.
but
Fun silly. Fun
but that
silly.
makes it fun, and I think I think that's probably a good bit of advice for a young mom is don't take yourself so seriously. Allow your time to just be silly, be
Mhm.
free flowing, and let it come. And don't worry so much about documenting everything and making everything the best memory ever. And we've eaten how many meals over the course of our lives, and not every one of them was the best meal we ever had, but they all
Mhm.
kept us going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't take pictures either, Christmas, and my mother said nobody took pictures. And we had just about the entire family there. But I was in the moment. I'm
Mhm.
usually the photographer. I'm usually the one that goes around taking pictures. I didn't think about it. I was in a different place this year.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
was embracing the moment instead of trying to
Right.
capture the moment. I just didn't think about it. But those memories are good, but the memories will always be here, whether we
Right.
have them documented or not. But technology has just almost taken over embracing the moment.
Mhm. Mhm.
We'll snap the selfies and take pictures and post. It's all about posting. But what about
Yeah.
present? What about
Mhm. Mhm.
present? And is there a difference? So everybody would have a different definition or a different perspective
Mhm.
of living in the moment. And somebody could be watching and saying, there's nothing wrong with I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking
It's
pictures,
selfish. Take
taking
pictures.
selfies.
Mhm.
Do do you, but
Right. Right.
don't let the moment pass
Mhm.
trying to make the moment a memory. Every moment will become a memory.
That's
Every
right.
moment. Once that moment is over, it is gone, never to be seen again. So I even told my boys, and both of them had their girls, their lady friends with them. Before we got to my mother's house on Christmas, I said,
Mhm.
this moment right here with the 5 of us together,
Wow.
we will never see this moment again.
That's
We will
right.
never have this moment. I said, so let's just be quiet for a moment and just embrace
Sure.
and
Yeah.
yeah, the togetherness. Because once we drive down the road and hey, I said, but even enjoy that moment. Enjoy
Right.
those because 2020 Christmas, there's not another one. But even today, what's the date? The 7th of January.
Mhm.
There's not another January 7th,
That's right.
2021.
Mm.
Once we close our eyes tonight, it's gone.
That's
So
right.
when we lay our head on our pillow, we want to, again, the Other Woman magazine, I want to know that I have no regret for this day. I want
Yeah.
to know that I have lived unapologetically, you
Mhm.
know, for me. And I am good in my selfishness now. I'm in a good place of
Yeah.
selfishness that took me most of my life to get here. So I'm not going to let anybody make me feel
Exactly.
guilty about the place that I'm in. So it's just about being in the moment for me,
Mhm.
being in the moment and staying connected. So the difference in living or existing can be different for everyone also. If
That's right.
living is jumping out of an airplane or climbing the ladder of success, if that's what it is for you at that moment,
Mhm.
let it be.
Let it
I
be.
remember when I shaved my head, I was almost bald. That
Mhm.
was in the moment at that time. I didn't know it, but looking back, I'm like, that was a special moment for me. That
Mhm.
was all made almost uncovering or getting rid of one of those layers that I had and
Right.
just embracing the moment. So hindsight is something serious.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lavinda, you talk about those boys and their girls. I'm just picturing these young men. I
Mhm,
remember when they were little boys, and now they have their own
mhm.
girls. And what, Javon's about to be a dad? Are you kidding me?
Yes. Why are
You
we
know,
bringing this up?
I
I
know,
can't
but
handle it.
when you think about it, you talking about selfishness now. Wait until that grandbaby gets here. Everything's
Oh,
gonna shift, right, Laura? Everything's gonna shift, everything's gonna change. Because that's a whole nother set of memories. A whole nother set of memories. I just had three of my grandchildren here for a week. That's why I say everybody's back home. I came through Pensacola. When I tell you I came through Pensacola. So, but it's okay. The selfishness right now is okay. But guess what? That's where I'm headed. That's why I have enough grandchildren to where if another one comes, I'm going to love on them. I'm going to give them that little space. But I have learned to give them back to their mothers and their dad. And I learned to be content right where I am. Whatever the circumstance is, whatever come that may, I have learned to be content, be it good, bad, or indifference. I was on the way to work. Let me tell you, and I know, thank God, I know I've been changed. I was on the way to work this morning, and I decided I'd get in the office early. I had some extra things I wanted to do prior to work, to open in the office. And so I get right down the street on Monroe in front of the Capitol, and the guy had his blinker on. And he wanted to get in. Well, I slowed down waiting for him to get in, and he just wouldn't come over. So I sped up a little bit, and he sped up, went around another car and got in front of that car and let that car pass him. And he slammed on brakes right in front of me.
Bless his heart.
And everything I had was on the floor. Well, I was supposed to be very upset, and it did shake me for a moment. And we talking about just, living. It shook me up for a moment, and I said this. I said, no. Mm-mm. And I have road rage, yes, Lord. But I've been changed. I know I have. Yeah. Because, I thought about, I said, you know what? I should have hit him. I could have had another car. But I'm happy with my 20-year-old car. I don't want a car, no. And so saying all that to say, I stopped, and mindset is what I'm talking about. I stopped, and I thought, just for that moment, I was going to let whatever happened right then happen. And I pulled up beside him, and I looked over at him, and I said, have a good day. And I kept going. Now, I done made him mad. I know I made him mad. But, and I went on. We have to live in the moment. Selfishness is okay. And I would not allow anyone to come in and to take my happiness. I just can't do it. That is not living. When you allow people to come in, that means you're existing. You're not living for you. You're allowing them to take control of you. And now you're existing all over again. No. Mindset change.
Well, speak on that when you said all over again. So, so the children are grown. Now the grandchildren are coming. Do you feel obligated to...
Heck no.
Laura,
to nothing.
And I didn't even...
Heck no.
Wait a minute, Laura.
I have no obligations to them.
Okay. Why did you laugh? Be honest.
They baby.
Transparency, Laura.
There were days where I felt like the worst grandma ever because I wasn't like doting on them and slobbering all over them and stuff. But now that they're a little older, I really like the relationship that I have with my grandkids. Right. And we've been kind of fortunate. My son and his ex-wife, of course, divorced. So my grandkids have his ex-wife's parents, and then her husband's parents are grandparents now, and then there's us. So they've got lots of grandparents.
Okay.
So it kind of spreads it out a little bit.
Okay.
I get to be the cool grandma with the cheese,
And they're all in the city.
Yes. Well, they live over in Gulf Breeze, so it's kind of a long way around now, but
now, yeah.
Okay. And Iselina, you don't feel any obligation. The love is there, but
the love is now living. I just told you I just had 3 of them here. My second oldest son, 3 boys, was here in Tallahassee. But no obligation. When I think about obligation, that means that I have to be there and wait on hand and foot and do this and do that. Now, if they call me, if I can do something, I'm gonna do it. Like my Javon's son, my oldest son, his son is in California, and he was headed to Mexico around Christmas with his mom. And he called me. He said, "Hey, Yaya," he said, "Can you cash out me some money?" And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. So little stuff like that, but to be obligated, no. I had 2 of my grandsons come and stay with me for a year. That was one of the best years of my life, because at that point, yes, I could have said, yeah, I felt obligated because they look to me as their parent. But right now, the obligation is to me
Mhm.
and me only, the
Mhm.
selfishness. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you, I'm getting selfish, but I mean, I was 18 years old when I had my first child.
Yeah. So
And all
that's
I
like most of
knew,
your life that you've been
yeah, all I knew was mama, wife, daughter, granddaughter.
granddaughter, now grandparent.
Yeah. So no, um, I I love my grandchildren, and as Laura, I still slop over mine. Even my boys try. Them grown men, they come in and out of the door. We'll hug. We kind of touch and feel it. Even in COVID, we
Yeah.
kissing and hugging. Yeah, we kiss and yeah, we do. Yeah, Lavinda, let them come in here now, and I'm on this thing. They gonna reach
They
over, and y'all
do.
gonna see them
They
kiss me.
do. They
That's
do.
what they do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we live in the moment.
Mm.
We live in the moment. We don't ever know when it's going to be anybody's last time to live in the moment. So yeah.
Mm.
So no, I'm
Yeah.
not obligated. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good note to sign off on. We don't know when the last moment
Mm-hmm.
is. So
Mm-hmm.
just like the guy on death row, you
Yeah.
know, you're that's your life. That's where you are, and he expresses how he lives in the moment. Every moment,
Absolutely.
just grateful for that moment.
Wow.
So if someone behind bars can have that attitude, that positive attitude, surely we can out here in this world of, as I
Mm-hmm.
say, this world of nothingness with all of this stuff
Yes.
around us,
Mm-hmm.
grabbing our attention to stop and just breathe in the air and recognize and acknowledge the air that we breathe and what's
Absolutely.
around us. You know, we say stop and smell the roses, but and speaking of embracing the day, I have to share this journal that was given to me at Christmas. I have someone gave me my sister gave me a mug, and it
Mm-hmm.
says, "I don't give a sip." No, and so and this one is a journal to seize the effing day. So I'm wondering, are they trying to tell me something? Do I have a
What?
potty mouth? Everything is,
Wow.
but you know what? That's I don't want to say that's my attitude, but I'm at a point in my life where I just don't allow things to I don't want them to affect me the way they
Right.
used to. So I got this phrase where I'll take a effort out my pocket and I have to use it now because things used to bother me. But it is
Right.
what it is, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So I'll say it in a minute, F it. And it's not in an ugly way, but it's like, I got to move on. I got
Yeah.
to move
Yeah.
on. You know, it
Yeah.
happened. Let's move on because something else is coming to happen in the next minute. So
Right.
F it and move on
That's
and
right.
seize the day. You
That's
know,
right.
just take it as it is. Just let life happen. So, you
Yes.
guys, we are going to close it down. And I want you guys to share some parting words for this new day, this new month, this new year, with everyone happy that 2020 is over. But again, nothing has changed because we changed that calendar year. It's
Mhm.
got to change in our thinking.
Yes.
So, Iselene, you go first.
Okay. My parting words, and just to tell everyone, just learn to be content. And Paul said it best that I've learned to be content in whatever circumstance and situation that I'm in. And oftentimes we try to run and hide from the things that's to come, but take the time and be content because wherever you are is where you need to be at that time because you'll get through it. It's like a storm. If you stop in the middle of the storm, you're going to be there until the rain stops. But if you continue to go on the other side of through, it's going to be where you need to be. So just live for the moment.
That's good. That's good. Laura, your turn.
Um, I would say to and to kind of take on what Iceland said, smooth seas don't make skillful sailors,
Hmm.
and so sometimes you'll try something and you fight for it and you really work at it and it doesn't work out, but don't think that's where you have to end.
That's right.
Um, the last year has seemed like it may not have been good for some people, but you wake up every day and you get another chance. You get another chance to engage with people and to spread kindness and love in the world. And so I would just tell people to slow down and look for something every day that brings you joy and brings you happiness, and share that with other people.
That's good. That's good.
Awesome.
Thank you
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
Thank you all for sharing your words, sharing your life, sharing. I'm going to just continue to replay this, and hopefully someone tunes in later and they'll catch a word that will help
Yeah.
them go into the new year. And my parting words, as always, is to meet the other woman, embrace the other woman, and free the other woman. In this one life that we have, just embrace the moment. So on that note, we are going to say good night with our video. Bye-bye, ladies.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Thank you.